Hi and welcome to Workshop Wednesday. Today is a Patreon request. I've been asked to show a little bit more of my process of abstracting from photographs. In other words, of taking a realistic photograph and trying to sort of turn it into something a little bit more, something that wants to express something other than the realistic landscape in front of me. So this isn't going to be a tutorial, but I hope it'll be almost as useful as a tutorial. In fact, probably even more useful, because maybe it will give you a few clues and ideas as to how you can explore your own subjects. Whether or not you're an abstract painter or a figurative painter, this method of exploration can still be used and can still help you to come up with your own unique body of work. So try not to think of today's workshop as something to follow along with, because what you'll be watching is just how I have built towards these paintings that you see in front of you. Hopefully, if I share my process with you, it might spark some ideas for you to follow your own ideas for your own photographs, your own subjects that you want to explore, things that you want to paint in your art. You can maybe use similar methods to sort of try and sort of find a way into finding a unique way to explore your chosen subject matter. So these two paintings, Storm Surge 1 and Storm Surge 2, are part of my new series, which I'll be working on over the next few months. And I'm very proud of them. Copyright Lois Davidson. Hopefully there'll be quite a few in this series. I'm really excited to share with you how I arrived at these. And funnily enough, the very start of this idea was a Patreon tutorial on abstracting landscapes. That was the starting point, and I'll put a link to that tutorial in the description below, so you can watch that if you like. And this was the result of that tutorial: 4 little sketches that I came up with, different ways to try and abstract the landscape of a photograph of my beach. Some of you will probably remember it, because I know quite a few people had a go at it and had to go at similar things with their own photographs, which was really wonderful to see your own ideas being explored. As I say, I'll put a link to that below. And just to say, I'm sorry if my voiceover will get a little bit breathless here and there today. I'm recovering from sort of a bit of a chest infection, so as I say, if I start rambling and talking in long sentences, as you all know I often do, then I'm going to begin to get breathless, but I am fine, I'm on the mend. So this is the photograph that I used. One of these days I shall do a figurative painting of it, because the woman and her dog that you can see against the dark coloured shape of the breakwater are really attractive, and so I would like to explore that at some point. But in the Patreon exclusive demo here, I was exploring possibilities for abstracting that photograph. So sort of, if you like, riffing on the shapes, kind of looking at the shapes and responding to those shapes, and painting just little notes and ideas here in 4 separate little paintings where I divided the painting up. So if you look closely, you can see that they all have that sort of similar structure. I've kept the structure of the geometric shape of the built structure of the breakwater, and then there's that looser, freer sort of feeling created by various means for the sea and the beach. And of course, if you're interested in that, then follow the link below, because I think you will really, if you haven't seen it, I hope that you'll enjoy seeing my early process and the first steps that I took to explore this subject. So to explore it further, the first thing I'm going to do is cut up these little panels and put them into my studio journal, and then I can sort of have them there as a record of what I like about them. I can sort of look at them from time to time and sort of think what it is that I like about each one. And then even if I don't take these little exploratory pieces further straight away, I've got a record of them in my studio journal. I can come back to them and refer to them. And that's exactly what I did when I suddenly became inspired to have another go at taking this idea a little bit further. I think the idea has been I've been mulling it over for months and months now. And sometimes it can take that long for something to sort of gel and click and for you to decide what direction you want to take it. And so what I'm going to do is try out some more experiments and kind of refresh myself first. So, because those were done a few months ago, so I've done exactly the same. I've got the back of an old painting and I've divided it into 4 pieces with masking tape, and I'm just going to play around on it with some marker pens and some paint and just see what happens, and just see if I can sort of discover anything that I like and get myself sort of connect with the idea again and connect with the paint in the context of this idea, if you see what I mean. So these are going to be more of these little sort of exploratory exercises and warm-up exercises. There's no intention here of trying to make a finished painting. This is trying to sort of grab onto some ideas and find things that inspire me. And so here's my result. It's you can see that they are just the same kind of abstract experiments that I've been doing recently in some of the demos here. If you're interested in those, then just click on the tag below the description for the abstract painting series and you'll find more of them to follow. But using exactly that sort of method to explore, I've been playing around with colour, pattern, mark making, and I've got some really interesting results here. They're very different from the first results. They're much more sort of free-flowing, even though I think these are a bit overworked in places. There is a freedom here that I really like. There's something in the way the paint, sort of some of the washes, just flow across the page, and the strong contrasts of light against dark and soft against hard edges, I think is really working nicely here. But I'm missing blue in this colour combination, so I think I'm going to introduce a small amount of blue to the next experiment. And recently, a lot of my own my own personal explorations have been in a kind of panoramic format. That's the sort of shape I've been exploring in for some reason, and it's probably going to be the shape for a lot of the paintings in my new series. And so I'm going to change the format and bring in some blue and see what happens. I'm going to be using the wet in wet method again. Instead of starting off by disrupting the page with scribbly lines and marks, I'm just going to work straight into the blank page this time, I've decided, and just let the paint do the talking, let it marry and mingle with the water and try to get that contrast. That's what I'm going to be looking for, is that contrast between the built structure of the breakwater and the power and sort of softness and random shapes and patterns made by breaking waves and the ebb and flow of the tide. So here's my paper. It's divided into 2. You can see I've got 2 really nice panoramic vistas here. Nice and wide and long and narrow. I think they're a really nice shape. I should be able to explore my themes in these shapes and then take those ideas a little bit further in this experiment. So I'm going to wet the page with a large brush and then just play with paint and explore my themes using a store card, various brushes, the wet in wet method, tipping and tilting, and I'm just going to have a fun and see what happens, see if I can get closer to what I'm looking for. So here's the end of the experiment, and I must admit I'm absolutely delighted with the way this went. I'm really pleased. I think this has got me a lot closer to where I wanted to be with the abstraction of that particular photograph. I really like the sort of ebb and flow. There's quite a gentle feeling to these paintings. I'd say this is like the calm before the storm. For the actual paintings themselves, though, I'm looking for more of a feeling of a storm. And the paintings that I ended up with, which I painted after this, are called Storm Surge 1 and Storm Surge 2. These two studies, as I say, are much more tranquil and serene. So let's just remind ourselves of the photograph. And I hope you can see the strong connection between the two, the original photograph and then the first set of studies which I painted for you in the 3-part demo, which is linked below, which I hope you'll go back and watch. So that was like the seeds of the idea, and then those seeds have kind of been germinating, I suppose, in my mind, and they developed into these stronger, bolder, more expressive studies that were closer to what I was looking for. And then from then I progressed to the idea of using a panoramic format to try out some further experiments, wanting to sort of lighten the colour palette a bit here with some blue, and to sort of use a lot more sort of paler areas of the paper. And so these were my final studies, and I'm really pleased with the way that these worked out. And I went straight to my paper stack and got out some beautiful new paper and taped it to a board, went straight in, and using the inspiration from these studies, created my latest paintings. And here they are, Storm Surge 1 and Storm Surge 2. For me, they express so much more than just the scene in the photograph. They express the many hours that I've spent over the past sort of 50 or 60 years on the beach, as a child, growing up as an adult, the many, many visits in different weather, under different sort of emotional stresses, sort of moments of triumph and moments of despair. It's all expressed through my feelings and connection to this amazing place, and I'm really pleased that I've managed to bring a little bit of that out in these paintings, and hopefully I'll be able to reconnect with that feeling and continue to work on this series, which of course I'll share with you here on Patreon. So I'd recommend, if you've got areas that you want to explore in your painting, I'd recommend a similar sort of approach. Lots of thinking time between the experiments as well. I think that really helps, so that the idea can then just grow and strengthen, and you can just play and experiment without trying to make a finished painting straight away. Enjoy the process of exploration, because it'll lead you in places that you would never have imagined, and you'll come up with something completely unique to you, and a beautiful piece of expressive loose artwork, whether you're an abstract painter or a figurative painter. So as always, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.